By the way, can I ask, where is Mr. Tinubu?
He's outside the country, he's outside Nigeria, specifically where I don't know. I haven't called him since we finished our work, so...
Is he all right?
No, I lie. I spoke to him about a week ago. He was in France.
Okay. Is he all right?
Of course
medically?
He is. Of course he is. Come on.
No, I'm asking because these are some of the questions that, you know, I mean, we reflect what is happening.
Let's go there. So since 2002, when he hurt his back, almost every time he has traveled, opposition has said he has died, but he still comes back alive. He'll be back soon.
But I'm not sure they said he has died this time around. They're just worried.
He's fine.
They said, look, is he there on a vacation to rest or something?
I believe that he's taking some time out. He needs it. He ran, I think, the longest, the fiercest campaign. He ran, his primaries was the most contested. After the primaries, he went around making peace with all those who were unsuccessful against him. After that, he was busy involved in planning the re-election. And since then, he's just ran this marathon like a sprint. And I think that he deserves...
You know what some Nigerians have been saying? They've suggested to him about 3 or 4 places that he could have gone to rest, since now he's now the president-elect. Yankari Game Reserve,
yes.
Ikogosi, Calabar. These are very beautiful places. Now we have a president-elect who has chosen to go to France to go and rest. So Nigeria is not enough to rest. These are some of the questions.
I am conjecturing that is what he went to do, but the Bola Tinubu, I think I know, president-elect, will also be doing some networking. There's no idle moment in his life. And he overworks himself and overworks his mind. I know that he'll be doing a lot of networking, meeting people, planning ahead, building relationships that might be useful for his government and for Nigeria internationally, and he's a highly connected person.
So you've said that Mr. Tinubu is very okay medically. So you've told Nigerians that. So you were his chief of staff. Would you be playing the similar role in his government?
Well, unlikely. I don't think so. Look, and I think that...
Does your name have come up?
Yes. You see, I think that it's a good point you raise, and you know, I think that it is extremely ridiculous, and I say this without apology, to begin to choose offices for the nation that represents the largest black race in the world on social media. It ridicules us, and we should stop it. I think we have elected a president. Let us wait for him to be sworn in, and let us respect the privilege that he has and the prerogative he has to constitute his team. I think no serious nation does what some rascals are doing on social media, saying this one is this, that one is that, picking ministers. I mean, we just saw 2 years ago, a little over 2 years, President Biden elected, and I don't think this farce, if you like, on social media was going on in that country, permutating offices, and I think it should stop. We should stop ridiculing this country.
You don't think it's a social engagement?
I don't
based on the interest of the people?
I don't think so. Not some of the things that I've seen. I think it's extremely ridiculous.
Or you will not be playing such a role?
I think it's extremely ridiculous. Look, and you can't begin to even contemplate what the president-elect and soon-to-be sworn-in president will do. And I think we should just wait for what will happen when he makes his decision. And I think that is the appropriate and dignified thing to do.
Let me ask you, you are someone who, by privilege, worked closely with him. You basically controlled his schedule at some point when he was governor. So you have also some privilege.
Okay, so I was his chief of staff for 4.5 years. Yeah. I took over from Lai Mohammed. And in terms of controlling Asiwaju's schedule, that was a stretch, that was a tough ask, because he has day and night schedules. So, and for those who are going to work with him, let me warn them, he's very nocturnal. I hope he changes. So he will wake you up at night. He does his best work in the dead of the night. unless you can push back and claim your space at night. He will encroach it. He's very, very detailed. He micromanages.
More than President Buhari.
So, more than President Buhari. So, let me, I was speaking to somebody and I said, imagine that there are two football coaches. So President Buhari is the type of president, is the type of football coach, quote and unquote, that will prepare his team and then go and sit in the coach's dugout and watch them play for 90 minutes. He trusts them to do his work and believes that there's nothing he can do. Asiwaju will be that kind of coach playing the game with them in the good
like an Jose Mourinho.
You got it. So those are the two those are the two differences that you see between them.
Let me hope that you're going
Both
to be
prepare,
able to,
one delegates completely, one delegates and stays with you. And each one has his strength. Like in 8 years, President Buhari hasn't interfered in my ministry. Never.
And he trusted you.
I believe so.
Okay. Let me see if you can help us out with some information. Why is the man you were his chief of staff, he has so much of controversy around him. And I'm hoping that you might be able to clear the air. There are controversies about his age, his true age, controversies about his true educational status, controversy about his name. In fact, there are controversies about whether or not he has dual citizenship, controversies about his past life in the United States. Can you clear the air about this man?
I think that makes it the more interesting. And I think those issues have been ventilated sufficiently. You know what the Nigerian people have decided? Those issues don't matter. That's what they have said by this vote. And in making that choice, the only thing I can say to you is that every time it got more difficult, I used to tell people this was his path to success. There was no easy way. There's no easy day for him. The more difficult it gets, then you can be sure it's Asiwaju's. And I think that for somebody who has faced all of these obstacles, I keep referring to when he was... I remember when he wanted to be governor. You may or may not recall, for 3 days after the primaries, we couldn't find the state party chairman, the returning officer for the election. And Lagos was in suspense for 3 days until they found the returning officer. And that's the Asiwaju story.
But does he really have a dual citizenship?
That's the Asiwaju story now. And, so the more difficult it gets, the more it brings out the best in him. And for me, I think that now that all of these hurdles have been surmounted, maybe there's a divine purpose to it. Maybe perhaps, just perhaps, this is where Nigeria begins to turn in the most positive way forever. Because sometimes this is just what it takes. Because governance is not about sainthood. It is about efficiency. It is about performance. It is about delivery.
So Bola Tinubu is not a saint?
I am not. I doubt that you are.
No, I am not a saint. I mean, so, if you're a saint, you should be never by now.
At the end of the day,
for anybody that will be Nigeria's president, issues of character, issue of consistency in the person's life. Why does he have so much controversy? And the third time I'm asking, does he have a dual citizenship?
Character is important. Character is relevant. You know, I tell people, when you read the story about Abraham Lincoln and how he got the bill that ended slavery passed, if you read the process, you will not take the results. Go and read it. So, but it was about doing a good thing at the time. And I'm not saying anything, so nobody should read innuendos to what I'm saying. But all I'm trying to say is that governance is about getting the results. The process is important.
No matter who the person is.
The process can be important. Let me put it that way. But sometimes the people you impact, and there is a level of integrity beyond which you should never compromise anyway. So those are issues that are settled because they are value issues. Societies are built on them. So I should not be misunderstood. But again, you must understand that we must not be looking for saints. So all of the accusations that have been leveled against him have been either unproven or there was no evidence offered in support of them. But they have run along for a while. I know one of them.
Which is?
So they said that he owned the Oriental Hotel.
Does he?
He doesn't. You know, when that story broke, Dele Alake, his
commissioner
image maker then, went to him and said, look, boss, this story is making the rounds. I should go and deny it. He said, no, they're wishing me well. Don't deny it. I was there. And the story has gained the life.
Does he have a stake?
No, there was no stake. The place was a swamp. The owners of Oriental Hotel, according to the story, were the people who used to own, I think, Golden Crown on Ikorodu Road, and they wanted to relocate. The whole of that Uzumbamba was a refuse dump, including the place where Jim Movia built Civic Center. I was in government when they gave it to him. We used to recover dead bodies there. So it was like, build something there so that we can protect. And that was how they came along.
So what about the issue of dual citizenship? This is the fourth time I am asking.
Dual citizenship. I know he carries a Nigerian passport. I don't know about dual citizenship. I know he resided abroad when he went on exile. I don't know if they gave him American citizen there. What does that have to do with the results of the election? And wait a minute. Whilst we are going there, the last time I checked, I think that Nigeria's constitution allows you to have dual citizenship, doesn't it?
As a president, you need to recheck the constitution in respect of being a president.
No, it's place of birth. It's place of birth. If you were born to Nigerian parents, I think that I will check that, but I doubt that the Nigerian constitution makes it makes you disentitled if you have dual citizenship, because the constitution allows you to have dual citizenship.
I've not gone into the works and housing, and I'm really running out of time.
Because you are pressing very, very tenuous grounds.
Well, you are dodging away from it.
No, I'm not dodging. I'm engaging you.
Yeah.
You are pressing tenuous grounds, so if you want to continue there or you want to do some more ground covering, let's go there.
Can we talk about National Assembly politics in 1 minute? Because there are very important issues in relation to your ministry.
I have no opinion about national. No, okay. I will keep my opinions about National Assembly politics to myself. Let the party decide what it wants to do. But the only point I want to make is that people have assumed that we are the opposition party, and they have started zoning out offices. That because one person is this and that. We are not the opposition party. Our constitution, the last time I checked, has no zoning of offices. So that said, what should guide our party is the provisions of the Nigerian constitution about representation and equity. And that is all I am going to say about that.
So you don't think that zoning should be paramount?
No, I'm telling you what. I'm not rendering an opinion about zoning. I'm rendering the statement of fact that you see, you all say that sometimes, most of you say we are all the same. We are not the same with the opposition party. Our constitution is different in some instances. And indeed, our manifestos are different on certain issues. So we are not the same. So before you start importing their policies into our practices, let us get that right. But the Nigerian constitution speaks about the need for equity, fair representation of the Nigerian populace.
Let me get your views quickly on the Ministry of Works. You said that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be delivered between April and May.
The contractors are expected to finish on the 30th of April. So I repeat what I said. From the Lagos end to the Ibadan end, the only place where work will not be complete is after Ibadan going towards Oyo, because at kilometer 116, between kilometer 116 and 127, the Oyo state government is building some stormwater channels there, and we have decided to wait for them to finish their stormwater channel before we finish the road, instead of building it and then them having to cut it up. But from toll gate to toll gate should be ready, and
inward Lagos,
both ways.
Because it's cost a lot of headache.
Yes, this is the most difficult part. I was there, I think, about a week or 2 weeks ago. This is the most difficult part. We left it for the last. It's the most traffic part. It's the most built-up area, and so traffic challenges, over 40,000 vehicles per day driving through a construction site. That is not an easy undertaking. Right now, the contractor has mobilized, the last time I went, 110 different machines, equipment there, and 450 people in terms of manpower there. They're running, all stations are going now to see that they keep up with that date.
So April 30th, that's what we should be expecting.
Fingers crossed.
So let me go to the Federal Executive Council recently approved 6.3 billion for the maintenance of the Third Mainland Bridge.
Yeah.
How can you explain that cost?
Yeah, well, it's a good point you raise. The bridge is 11 kilometers, 11 point something kilometers. It has about, I think, 10 different interchanges that link it. All of those interchanges have the wearing surface, which is the pavement. The wearing course has eroded, so they have to be milled and relayed, new asphalt, on the entire length of the bridge and the interchange.
Will it look like you're reconstructing it?
Yes. You see, the bridge, every road really has what is called a wearing course, and it wears off over time, just like the heel of a shoe. That's why it's called a wear. As you use it, it wears off. That's the asphalt you drive on. But between that, there's a concrete base. So they are going to mill, and milling in street language is scraping that off and relay new asphalt on the road. We didn't do that at the time we closed the bridge, because the asphalt has not deteriorated to the stage where it is now at that time, first. And secondly, the work we undertook at that time was more structural work related to the structural integrity and safety of the bridge, to prevent or avert any structural failure or collapse. That was work of underwater piles, which is still not completed. So you see, you can't see that. It's going on.
Yeah.
So,
but is the integrity of the bridge intact?
If I may, the integrity of the bridge is intact. So, of the underwater piles, then the concrete casing that you see at the bottom of the bridge, those are the pile caps. Some vessels have knocked into it, and so all of those have to be cleaned up. They have to be put into proper shape, and then the piers too have suffered. Those are the concrete things that goes to the top, have suffered some deterioration. They have to be jacketed. That's the word that is used. New coat of cement, and they put epoxy to strengthen and protect it, and also reinforcement that has become exposed to the elements, that is the iron rod, has to be cleaned up, repaired, sprayed, and protected. Then what we did also was to change bearings. There are bearings under the bridge that allow it to move in a controlled manner. Once those bearings are broken, then there's a danger that the deck can slide off. So those bearings were changed. Then there's also the expansion joints that allows for movement between, because bridge is not built in one long cast. It's built in segments like this. So, and they're allowed to move and settle. Those expansion joints are deteriorating material.
When was the last time this kind of maintenance was conducted?
There was one that was conducted when I was governor, but they didn't budget to do the whole thing. So it is the outstanding part. Yeah. It is the outstanding part now that we did when we closed it off. Now, what we are doing is aesthetic work and drive free. And also some of the railings that have been damaged, that have been cut, that have been stolen, all of those are part of the work that will be replaced now.
I'm being told I have about 60 seconds to go, and I have a few concerns, because 2 years ago, the Minister of Finance said it will cost about 4 billion to do the same work. Now it's over 6 billion.
Minister of Finance?
Yes.
Well, I can't recall that.
At the time she was saying it will cost about 50-something billion to do several bridges and
But even
maintenance.
if she said so, maybe she was just speaking figuratively, because these costs are the costs certified by the Bureau of Public Procurement. And those are the statutory advisors of government on costs. So once the BPP speaks on costs, that's the end of the matter.
So when are you beginning the maintenance?
We just passed it last week, I think. We will adopt the minutes at this week's meeting. Then the process moves to the issuance of extracts from the minutes, which the PAMSEC will then use to issue an award letter. These are all the procurement processes. It takes time.
So because a lot of people are worried about the man hours.
They shouldn't be worried.
And why is this coming at the rainy season?
They shouldn't be worried. We will do our best to minimize the impact. Many people have complained about their driving experiences. This is government responding to your concerns, and we will do our best to minimize the impact on commuters.
Perhaps look at the New York scenario. Maybe you can do it at night or...
Everything is possible. We will take everything on board.
Weekends.
We will work with Lagos State government. As I said when we briefed the press after council, if there is any need for closure, it won't be for any long period. At the extreme, it will be weekends. But hey, by the time the process kicks off, I should be out of office, so it will be somebody else's responsibility.
All right.
But we have a good team in the ministry, the directors and all the staff, and they know what to do.
If there is one word that you have to say about Bola Tinubu tonight and the expectations for his government in setting agenda for him, what would that be?
I won't set agenda for him. I will just ask people to go and read his manifesto. And I would also ask that the citizens hold their governors in readiness to work with the federal government, because building Nigeria is not the responsibility of a president alone. It is the responsibility of the president, the 36 governors, the FCT ministers, and the 774 local governments. They all have different constitutional responsibilities that impact Nigerians at different levels. So there are some things the president cannot do. Primary school, primary health care, water supply in your homes, sanitation in your states. Those are not federal responsibilities.
You trust Bola Tinubu, you trust Bola Tinubu to make Nigerians happy?
I believe that he will pick a good team, and working with the state governors and the local governments, I believe that the possibility of renewed hope is real.
Thank you so much.